So hello guys, welcome. This is Unity Dev. So in today's video we're going to be learning how to create character movements using C# and Unity. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So now after that, we just need to create a new C# script. Just go to your asset, create new folder, call it script, then create a new C# script. Just go in here and call it player controller, then double click it to open up in any IDE you're using. So for me, I'm using Rider. So first of all, we're going to use a character controller. So I'm going to mark this class to require that component. So require component. So it requires you the type of components, then type of, then it is character controller. Yep. And so now every time this we compile this class will require this character controller. So when you try to remove this character controller on this game object, so it won't work. So let's get a reference to our character controller. So make a character controller, then call it controller. Okay, Rider automatically makes it private. So in our start function, this function is called when the game starts. So I'm just going to set my controller to be the controller that we already have on our game object. So get component character controller. Okay, so now we have our character controller. So now we're going to the updates. So we're going to get our axis of our input. So float z move, which is the forward movement axis, call it z move, equals to grab the input class dot get axis, which means it's going to get the axis from the input, then horizontal. Sorry. Okay, this one you just need to type it as how you have it in your project settings. So just go to edit, project settings. Now look at the input manager, so and grab the axis. As you can see, I have the horizontal. You just need to put it as it is written. So it is both using the AD or left or right. So this is the horizontal, but the Z move shouldn't be the horizontal axis because it should be the vertical one, this one. So the vertical one uses the up and down using S and W. So you just need to go back to your IDE, change this to be vertical. So change this to be vertical. So then after creating the Z move axis, we're going to now create the x-axis movement. So the x move. So float x move, which is equals to the input dot get axis. Now this time we need to put in the horizontal as I've showed you. So we're gonna use the horizontal axis. So I just need to create two vectors. So the first one is the vector 3, which is going to contain the direction of where we're moving. So I'm just going to put underscore, so z move. So this is different because I've put in the underscore in front of it, equals to our transform dot forward. So because the z-axis should be the forward, then multiply it with our axis that we have created. Also create another vector 3, which is an x move, which is going to be moving on the x-axis. So get the transform dot right vector. So get the right vector, then multiply it with our x move. So now we have our three vectors. We have our two vectors. So we need to just put them together, because at the end of this we just need one vector. So create a vector 3, call it move, and we're going to take all these two vectors and add them together. So xmove plus zmove. We just need to normalize it, just to make sure that it is normalized by 1, and then multiply with time dot delta time. So the time dot delta time is a float number which returns 1 over the frame rate that your computer is running on. So just to make sure that all the things that is running are consistent throughout all the games. So after creating this vector 3, we just need to hook it up into our character controller to make our character move. So grab our controller, remember how we've created this one, and controller.move. This is a function that we allow more complex movement functions, and then put our move vector, so it requires a vector. So just save and go back. We just also need to create a float value which will determine our movement speed. So create float, make it public float, then call it movement speed. I just need to make it go between 5 and 20. This is just a range to make it go between 5 and 20. So let's say by default we just need 15 to be the speed of our character. Then the time we're moving this one, we just need to multiply it with our move speed. So multiply it with our movement speed, and then save and go back to the editor and see the result. So now after, we just need to create a new empty game object, call it player. Make sure the position is zeroed out, so go to the transform, reset our transform, then add our script to it. Just drag and drop your script to it, and as you can see, it automatically adds our character controller, because we have told this class to require this component. So now our default speed is 15. So just take your main camera and make it a child of our player. You just again reset our transform. So make it the Y position to 1. Also make it the Y position to 1. Make our radius to be the radius of our character to be 0.3. So just need to add the flow so we can make sure. So create object, 3D object, so plane. We just need to reset this transform. The lighting, I'm sorry. Okay, need to make sure that it's computing the lighting. So also we just need to add cubes to this to just make sure that we're moving. So cube, reset our transform again, Control D to duplicate and put it in different areas, and just hit play. So now as you can see, we can move, but we're a little bit fast because we've put in our move speed to be 15. So stop playing, go back to our player and put our move speed back to something like 10. So also what I've noticed, just get rid of that normalize function, that normalize stuff that we have put in here. So that normalize, so get rid of it. So just, I don't want to normalize this vector, so just save and go back into the editor and hit play and see the result. So So now as you can see, now our character is moving, but we can't look sideways and stuff, so the character isn't doing much, so because we haven't even hooked the functionality of looking aside. So let's add that function too. So now we're going to add now a functionality to look around. So first of all, looking around, we're going to just rotate the camera. So let's get our reference to the camera. So create camera. Oh, I'm sorry, so we don't even need to create our reference to a camera. So first of all we need to get again, so let's make another section, call it comment it and call it camera rotation. So here we're going to do our camera rotation. So first of all, we're going to get again our mouse position on the x-axis. So float x rot, which means x rotation, equals to our input to get axis. Then the axis that we want is the mouse x. That's our x rotation should be our y, our mouse y, which means that our y axis on our mouse is going to be our x rotation on our world. So because we need this camera to rotate on the x axis, we need this camera to rotate on the x axis using our y, our mouse y. So our mouse y also exists in our input configuration. So there's our mouse, okay, there's our mouse y. So notice how the name says, you just need to type it as how it says. So we have mouse y. We're going to also need a rotation for y rotation. Again, input the get axis. We need mouse x. So after that, we need to just take this x-axis and try to rotate the camera on the x-axis. So go grab the camera. So first of all, make a vector 3. So vector 3 and x, call it x rotation, and give it to be our make it to be our transform. No, make it a new vector 3. So now our vector 3 should be rotating on the x-axis. So our x-axis should be the x rot. Now all the other axes should be 0. If I say 0 and 0, so now our all axes should be 0 except the x-axis, which we want to rotate this camera on. So now we're going to rotate our camera. So grab our camera. There's a camera class .main. So if I say the camera .main, this will enable, as it says, this will enable the camera tagged main. So this is going to return our camera. Then say transform rotate. So in which axis are we going to rotate? So we need a vector 3 which says which will determine how we're going to rotate this one. So make a next rotation, then multiply it with something like our rotation sensitivity. So make public float. Let's call it mouse look speed, and set it to be like something like 5. And take that mouse look speed and multiply it with our newly vector 3 that we have created. I also want to to multiply with time dot delta time, because sometimes people have computers that run like has different frame rates, and if you're playing with other people, so sometimes it will be one people can be having a high frame rate than you, and this should be running so fast than the one who is on lower frame rate. So first click save and see the result. So after we're saved, so let's hit play. So now as you can see, we can rotate up and down, but we need to increase our mouse speed to something like 10 and hit play again. So now as you can see, we can look up and down. So I just need to crack this up to something like 20, so because I'm saying that it requires high number. So now that's good too. So but the problem is, as I want to look down, it looks up, and as I want to look up, it looks down. So we need to reverse this. So just by going here and putting a minus on our X rotation, just put a minus, or without doing that, we can go again to our project settings. I'm sorry, that was preferences. Go to edit, project settings. As you can see, there is our mouse Y, which we are now currently using on our X rotation. So look for that mouse Y and check this invert. So simplification. So we can now invert our input without changing our script. So now as you can see, now it fixes all of it. So as you can see, we are only rotating on the x-axis, so we need to change that to also rotate on a y-axis. So go down here too, but at this time we're going to rotate the whole body, not the camera. So the camera will be looking up and down, but the whole body will be rotating. So I just need to just grab our, let's see if I can rotate using our character controller. So controller dot rotate. I guess we can't, so let's just use the normal one. So you just type in rotate, type in transform. So we're getting the transform of our game object that we are using right now, and rotate. So we're going to rotate on the y-axis. So we need to also create another vector that is going to rotate on the y-axis. So I'll create a vector 3, name it y rotation equals to one new vector 3. Now at this time we're going to put in here 0, because we're not going to rotate on the x-axis, but we're going to only rotate on the y-axis this time. So y rot, and again 0. So take that vector that we created, y rot, and multiply it with our mouse look speed, and then again multiply with our time dot delta time. I just need to also get rid of this one and just put it inside of here. So multiply it with time dot delta time, and just hit save. Go back to Unity editor, just hit play. So now as you can see, we can rotate and move at the same time. So we are rotating around, but also we have also fixed our inverse of our looking up and down. So this is the basics of our third person. This is actually the third person, I'm sorry, the first person character movement right now, because we are now looking in the first person view. So this is all we've got about the character movement. So thank you guys for watching. If you want to learn more, so I'm just starting this out, so I will be releasing new videos every day. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys have learned something new. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to this channel, like and share, and if you have any question, post it in our comment section, and I will reply it if possible. So thank you for watching. See you guys in the next video. Ciao.